Hey guys, Triple B here, back with some more shenanigans with Zoroark. Big fan of this card. If you've been around the channel before, probably seen a few of the videos. It's actually the first video I ever made for YouTube, so every time I revisit the list, super excited and just really love getting another chance to play the deck. Zoroark's gotten a couple of recent tools, so we're going to be taking a look through that, and I did manage to sneak in a fifth Zoroark, so keep it secret. Only supposed to have a 4 of card, but we found a way. So Zoroark, if you haven't seen it before, has a really powerful ability in Phantom Transformation. Once during your turn, you can choose a Stage 1 Pokemon, except any Zoroark, specifically Zoroark, so there's the other one, it's a little bit different, and you get to switch it from your discard pile with this Pokemon. Any cards that are attached to it, though, do get discarded, so if you have any energy or tools on this, they're going to be going in the discard with the Zoroark. They're essentially just doing a straight swap. Also has an attack, Night Daze, that for 2 colorless energy does 70 damage. Can come up because there's some things that are dark weak in the format right now. Maybe you're running into Mew and they've got Meloetta. You can be knocking that out with a Zoroark instead of having to go into a stage 1, since they're running some Lost Cities. Losing your attackers early game isn't really ideal, so being able to use this in the matchup is pretty handy. Get to the attackers though, because that's kind of the backbone of this deck list. Zoroark's just kind of there as the catalyst. So we do have the other Zoroark, being Hisuian Zoroark. Has the attack Doom Curse, don't even need any energy to use it. At the end of your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon's going to be knocked out, so it forces our opponent to have to switch out their active, which would negate the effect, but a lot of decks aren't running that many switch cards, so things like Lugia, they're basically just relying on their special energy. If you're telling them, hey, you're going to be knocked out, you got to discard all your energy or you're going to die, it can put them in a bit of a tricky spot, especially up against a single prize deck like ours, where they need to be managing their resources really well. It makes it a difficult choice for them. Things that are kind of bulky too, so Duraludon VMAX, we can't attack it if we've got special energies attached. We do have Path to the Peak to get around that, but this will also get around it since we don't need to attach any energy to use this attack. Our next attacker is Raichu, so it has a very powerful attack in Ambushing Spark. It's going to help you out against Lugia and Palkia Vstar. It does 40 damage, but if your opponent's used a Vstar power during this game, it does an extra 100 damage. 140, double that to 280 if they're lightning weak. It's going to be taking out those V-Stars. Even if they've got big charms, you can attach a Choice Belt to this, get up to 310, and just swing right through them. It's a very handy attacker to be able to have in the deck. Also got the Wormadam lineup in the deck. First one being the Steel, we've also got the Fighting and the Grass. They're very handy attackers to have just to go into weakness matchups. The Steel is going to be doing double damage up against things like Ice Rider Calyrex, which is very handy because it is seeing some play still. So there is 3 of them in this deck. First one being the Steel one. They've all got the same attack though in Matron's Anger. So it's going to do 30 damage and then an extra 10 damage for each Pokemon in your discard pile. So it's just a really powerful attack to be able to go into, and doubling in those weakness matchups makes pretty key moments. Also not a bad matchup just to go into things that aren't even weak to anything. So Regidrago starting to see play, Duraludon seeing play, having an attack that can just scale up is very helpful. And as mentioned, we've got the Fighting one, so he's going to be swinging for weakness into Arceus. We've also got the Grass one that'll swing for weakness into things like Darkrai Vstar and Hisuian Arcanine. They don't see a lot of play, but they can come up, so it's just helpful to have another attacker in the deck, and that has scalable damage. We've also got Braixen in the deck. Since we are going to be running 4 copies of Serena as our Gust and Draw engines, it's very helpful since the attack Flare Parade, it's going to scale up, doing 60 more damage for each Serena that's in your discard pile. So it gets up to 240. It's a pretty nice number to hit. Attach a Choice Belt, 270. It's just shy of taking out V-Stars, but if there's things that are Fire Weak, you're just going to be going right through them. Maybe you're running into a Dialga V-Star. It's really helpful to have this, or you just need to do some decent damage. Braixen's a good option to have for that. Having 90 HP, it is also searchable by Level Ball, which is very good to have in the deck. Next up is Flapple. It's got the attack Acidic Mucus. It's going to do 50 damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play that has an ability. There's a lot of decks running around that are going to fill up their bench with things that have abilities. Looking at you, Lugia. Lugia V-Scar's got an ability. Archeops have abilities. Maybe they're running Radiant Charizards. They've benched a Luminion or a Crobat. Things get out of hand very quickly. Even if they've only got 5 in play, we attach a Choice Belt, we're doing 280. That's going to be one-shotting Lugias. If they've got a full bench, you're doing 330 with a Choice Belt. You're taking out every VMAX. Kyurem's got an ability too, so can be very helpful in that matchup. We're not going to forget the other Apple Dragon though. We've also got Appletun, has the attack Thick Mucus, does 70 damage for each special energy card that's attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. Similar idea, it scales up very quickly. If Lugia's got 4 energy attached to it to be able to declare an attack, it's 280 damage we're going to be swinging into it, taking a knockout, which is very helpful and just another option to be able to play around with. Next up, we've got Mightyena. So it's got a very powerful ability in Hustle Bark. If your opponent has any Pokemon VMAX in play, the attack costs of this Pokemon are reduced by 3 colorless energy, which combos very nicely with the attack Wild Tackle that does 160 damage for 3 colorless energy. So effectively, if there's a VMAX in play, this can attack for free. Up against things like Duraludon VMAX, where if we've got special energy in play, we can't be hurting it. It's another option to have just to be half hitting it. We don't need a Path of the Peak to get around it. And then up against Mew VMAX, if they've got a VMAX in play, we're doing 320 damage into it. They've got 310 HP. We're taking a free knockout. It's pretty good value. They are running a lot of Lost Cities though, so do be mindful when you're bringing this out. It's probably only going to get a one-off, but trading 1 prize for 3 prize, it's always good value. That's going to be it for the attackers in the deck. For Draw Engine, we do have a 3-3 line of Cinccino. The ability Make Do. Once during your turn, you can discard a card from your hand and draw 2 cards. It combos very nicely with Zoroark, since Zoroark needs our Pokemon in the discard pile to be able to switch into them. We're going to be discarding them with Cinccino and drawing cards, which is pretty helpful. It does have an attack in Energy Assist that does 40 damage for 1 energy. You can attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. Unfortunately, we're not running any basic energy in this build though, but it is helpful just to be able to do a bit of chip damage if you need something. And it's going to evolve from Minccino, which has the Call for Family attack. You get to search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon, put them onto your bench, so if you're going second, you can be setting up some Zoras or some additional Minccinos, and just helps really get your board state set up to power you through that game. A few other tech Pokemon we've got in the deck. We've got Oranguru. You know my stance on this guy. Primate Wisdom lets you put a card from your hand on top of your deck and just swap them. It's very helpful since we are going to be discarding quite a few cards and we're reliant on special energy in the deck. So if we've got a Professor's Research, we don't want to be discarding multiple special energies. We can just switch it with the card on top of our deck, then play that research, draw into that energy again instead of having to lose it. Also got Manaphy in the deck. Helps out quite a bit since Cinccinos only have 90 HP. Greninja's running around quite a bit. We don't want things getting sniped and our opponent taking 2 prizes up against a single prize deck, so it's just helpful to have this in the deck. And I did actually miss one stage 1 Pokemon we've got, being Slowbro. He's very helpful in single prize matchups. So Slowbro has the attack Twilight Inspiration. You can use this attack only if your opponent has exactly 1 prize card remaining, but then you're going to take 2. So if the prize trade's swinging a little bit awkward and they're ahead of you, it can be a little bit tricky catching back up. You're needing your opponent to miss a knockout. To miss a knockout normally, but Slowbro is going to actually just let you go, hey, you know what? You got ahead of me a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to take 2 prizes up against you. Even if they're running something like Lost Box, where you're trading 1 prize into each other, it's just your way to get around that. For trainer cards, we are running 1 copy of Echoing Horn. Just noticed it's hidden under the camera there. It lets you put a basic Pokemon from your opponent's discard pile back onto their bench. We are running a heavy lineup of Gust cards, being 1 copy of Boss and 4 Serenas. So if we need to take an easy knockout, we can always bring back a Crobat, Gust it up, knock it out with Fighting type Wormadam, or if we're using the Flapple that's doing damage based off abilities in play, just bring back something that has an ability. Maybe bring back a Crobat you knocked out earlier so it can do an extra 50 damage and take a big knockout for you. It's pretty handy to have. For search cards, we've got 3 copies of Evolution Incense, 4 copies of Level Ball, and then 2 copies of Ultra Ball. We've got 2 Ordinary Rods just to be able to get our Zoroarks back into the deck. They are going to be discarded as we're switching into Pokemon, so it's just helpful to be able to get an extra 2 lines of them back out. And then 1 copy of Rescue Carrier. It's going to let you get your Zoruas, your Minccinos, your Cinccinos, your Manaphies right back from the discard and put them back into play. So if we see our opponents really aggressively going for that Greninja play, they're trying to take out our Manaphy, we can just go, hey, I'd like that back in my hand. Or if we've used 2 Zoroarks in a turn, it's like, well, let's set up 2 Zoruas again, get them back, put them back down. It's very powerful to be able to play that. For switch cards, we are a little bit limited. It would be nice to have a few more, but we've just got 1 copy of Scoop Up Net and 1 copy of Air Balloon. And then to help out in the Duraludon matchup and just slow down decks that are very reliant on abilities, we've got 2 copies of Path to the Peak. For draw support, we're looking at 2 Marnies, 2 Research, and then previously mentioned them, the 4 Serenas, Gust and Draw. It's a very powerful card. Going to be around in most decks, I think, until Scarlet and Violet comes out, then it might drop down a little bit. For tool cards, though, we've just got that Balloon, 1 copy of Choice Belt to fix up some numbers, and then for energies, we've got 3 copies of Double Turbo Energy and 4 copies of Twin Energy. Do be mindful, Double Turbo Energy is going to reduce your damage output by 20, so when you have the option to go for one over the other, if you're hitting the number safely, doing 20 less damage, use the Double Turbo Energy, because Twin Energy is helpful to be able to do the full damage, and vice versa. Just make sure you're doing your math before you're doing your attacks. That's the deck list. If you like it, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe so you know more shenanigans like this is coming out. Are you finding it hard to find time for gaming, cooking, and just life in general? Well, if you want to free up some time, why not try out HelloFresh? They're currently sponsoring the channel, and there'll be a link in the description below. Just follow that link and use the promo code, and it'll set you up with some free stuff. Well, let's jump on ladder and see how we go at this tonight. We're up against Zoroark. I like this. They're cool. We're cool. Looks like two Minccinos are prized. Not so cool. Do we have our Wormadam? We do. Okay. So game plan for this one is we get Wormadam out. And then we win. In that order. Okay. I think we're fine. We're in a fine spot here. He's based off special energy, right? The other one's the abilities. Beautiful. Okay, we figured it out. Great minds came together and we figured it out. What is this you're posting? Like that link, Bluefish. I don't know how to feel about that. Swear by shiny Magikarp? The goldfish. The golden goldfish. Oh, okay, so he's, you know, Wormadam's not to play anymore. Well, I guess now any Wormadam's to play. Fine. They're all in danger now. Let's get some Zoroark on Zoroark violence up in here. Nah, Bluefish, you're fine. Don't get too carried away with things, but I think it shouldn't delete all your stuff if you accidentally say some things that aren't Goomba or Goober. And yeah, you should be allowed to post links. So for those of you guys that like regularly come by the stream, I'm fine giving you that kind of permission. Can't speak today. We're having like a bit of a heat wave here, and it's definitely cooking my brain. Not used to it. Canadian down under, it's a weird combination. It's supposed to be minus 40 right now. We're getting like 35. Oh, I thought what it was. It's more so just teasing you. It's a good idea. He's dark weak. He's got 90 health left. We just go into Zoroark. Like, I don't even need to knock anything out. Or do I Guru first? Yeah, like I think we go for the definite knockout. Once they have a bunch of abilities in play too, Flapple becomes a threat. I might Wisdom that. Well. Yeah, that sucks. We need to draw cards though. Why does that keep happening? That happened last game too. Try to protect this and I get the other thing. Let's do that. Let's path to the Peaklim so they don't get damage counters out and they can't do stuff. Sweet. Yeah, I don't know. Rotation, I don't think it's going to be that bad this time around, to be honest. Like, we're losing some very quality cards. Like, losing Crobat sucks. But, like, losing things like Marnie, losing the Inteleon line, it feels like they've had their time. Losing Quick Ball, but we get Nest Ball, like, right when it happens. Like, there's going to be that awkward overlap where we have multiples of them. Cheers, Union. Cheers, buddy. We haven't done the giveaway just yet, because at the moment it's just Bluefish that has PTCGO. And as much as I do like giving Bluefish stuff, That just feels like a bit of abuse. Don't tell him. Oh, okay, okay. Just win it all back. I'm keeping that Quagsire though. I saw that and I was like, I run Quagsire in GLC. I like this. Wait, how does rotation work? I thought Quick Ball would stay because there's Quick Ball that was released in 2021. So rotation is... They've simplified the process. It used to be, well, they've simplified it, but it's still not super straightforward. So if there's confusions, I will happily answer them. But how it's working is now things have regulation markers on them. So if you look at a card on the bottom left side, see how there's an E here? So Quick Ball was reprinted, but the reprint of it still has a D because it came out in Sword and Shield. You don't know how it works either, Luke? Okay. Well, it's good to know. Maybe I'll do a video on it then too. We got another Path to the Peak. Sweet. But yeah, so there'll be the little regulation markers at the bottom left-hand side, and that's the easiest way to know. So Sword and Shield all the way through to, what was the last one we got? It was like Sword and Shield, Darkness Ablaze, Rebel Clash, Vivid Voltage, Champion's Path will all be rotating, and then anything that has those letter blocks. What do we have that can attack through them right now? I don't really want to lose this energy to do an attack that needs energy. Pop this on top in case they run Marnie. Don't think they would, but... And we just poke that monkey. Oh, what about F? F is next. So we'll go D, then E, then F. So F cards are like, they'll be around for a while. You'll have them for likely another 2-3 years at this point. Yeah, after E. So D block will rotate, and then next year, E block will rotate, then the next year, F, so on and so forth. So typically cards come out and you'll get them, you'll be able to use them for like 2 to 3 years, which is pretty good. And then some cards, when they do get reprints, the reprints will update the legality of the card. So I think on this professor's research, which I haven't played any yet. Have they played any? Of course not. But Professor's research, when it got reprinted, did get a new letter on it. So it's going to be legal. Whereas Marnie, it's just came out in Sword and Shield. There was like full arts and stuff that came out later, but they still have the D mark. Professor's research, later versions of it have E and I believe F. So even though the older ones would have D, because there's a version of that card that's still standard legal, you can play it. So even things like Ultra Ball, see our opponent's running like an older version of it, because Ultra Ball has the exact same text and it's been reprinted in the standard format, you can be running the old versions of it. So there's like Ultra Ball, you can do it. There's an old version of Quick Ball that you can be running as well, but that's going to rotate. But there's an old version of like Copycat and Judge, Witch. Wish Lugia would rotate. Yeah, Lugia's going to be around for a while. Feel Ultra is always there? What's Ultra? Yeah, oh, Ultra? Like Ultra Ball? Ultra Ball gets reprinted, yeah. I think it's 3 times we've had it? 3 or 4 times? Yeah, so there is like some complexities to it. Happy to answer any questions you have regarding it though. No powerful energy? Yeah, Lugia's gonna get nerfed a bit. Which is good. Powerful energy goes, Aurora energy goes. What else is it losing? The Yveltal from Celebrations is... Oh wait, it's Celebration. Celebration's E? Or that Yveltal wasn't even Celebrations, was it? I gotta double check it. I forget if that one's a D or an E block. You have a really dope secret rare grass energy in Japanese. Would you be able to use that? I'm gonna say probably not, but you'd have to double check that one. It's mostly just to do with the card backs are different. So if your sleeves are slightly translucent, which is also not something you're meant to be able to do, but it just gives a way of you being able to essentially mark cards is the mindset behind it, which gives a favorable advantage. Probably looking for Serena's in the discard too. We're only doing 120 with Braixen. He's got 6 abilities in play. So that's doing 300. Cool beans. Just need some energies. Yeah, that's that thing I said I needed. Make sure to switch before I do it though. Get another Zoro out. We've got Evo Incense to get a Zoroark. We've got Ultra Ball to get a Zoroark. We've got Choice Belt if they try and get around us. I think we just hold and swim. What am I missing here? What? I messed up. I should have let him keep that game job. Oh, they messed up. Thank you, buddy. Okay. Fine, we're fine. Fine. Hey, look, Stream Elements can post its stuff now. Yeah, I have a sponsor. That's neat. I feel kind of legitimized. Yeah, it makes sense. Forget about the backs. Yeah. I could be wrong, and it's definitely a question to ask. If you go to a regular league, just ask the judge or ask the tournament organizer there if they're okay with it. If you're going to like a regionals or something like that, though, I'd get it clarified. I'm sure it's probably in the FAQ on like the Pokemon website. Are they going to match the backs of the cards in Scarlet Violet or just the borders? I don't know. That's a great question. I feel like probably not. Just because for either or, it's become such a part of the branding that it would just kind of take away from it. Like in Japan, it's always been that back, and here it's always been card backing. Whereas the border isn't, like, it doesn't completely change things, but just having those backs of the cards, like when you open a pack, every card has that on it. It'd be interesting though. Yeah, we leave that. They can keep it. Let's go Cinccino. See what we get. Maybe we Ultra Ball for the other. Oh, hello. So we're currently doing 300, 280 with this. I think we just sit on that. We'll Primate Wisdom the Marnie on top. They've got a pretty bulky hand. Get Zoro's back. Yeah, I think we're in a fine spot for this match. You think they've changed the backs before? Really? Huh. I don't know. I remember them, like, from when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure the backs have always just been the same. I'm not too sure about Japanese cards. Like, I'm sure there's deviations in, like, the dye color and stuff like that, but I think the design of the back has always been the same for the English cards. Happy to be proven wrong. That'd be really cool if they have changed the backs. That Zoro Box feels like very fluid. This is working very well. Like, I don't even think it needs a grant. Back in the early 2000s, you think? Okay. Cool. I'll look into that. It'd be very interesting if they have. They are struggling to find an energy right now. Okay, so we're in the position where they're going to retreat that Zoroark. They don't have energy. Well, maybe they get some off Bibarel, but if they retreat it, we're just going to Serena up the Crobat if they try and give us something else. Need to double check we actually have another Zoroark in the deck. Believe we're good. Down 3, so unless one's prized. I think we're good to get rid of the Scoop Up now. Alright, well, we're good to get rid of a Serena for sure. We only need to do it once. Yep, good, yeah, we've got Zoroark. We do that, that becomes the Flapple. Just keeps doing what it's been doing. Kicking it, not bothering to take names. There's more asses you can be kicking, right? Check that down. Do we Marnie him? Like, they're gonna deck themselves out at this point anyways. Yeah. I think we start Manaphy. See what they're playing. Love using Templacino and Regidrago, it's not disruptive. Yeah, because I guess Path, you're only really shutting off your own ability though, right? What Radiant are you running in that deck, Luke? We just put that down? I think we just put that down. They're going to be running Escape Ropes. We've got Grass Wormadam though, which helps out in this matchup. They go for... Oh, okay. If they're going to try and dig for Escape Rope, this will be tricky. You don't have a Radiant? You don't always need one. In the Rillaboom version I built, I didn't have one, but... Losing this definitely sucks. No, that's fine. Like, do we need to keep, like, keeping the Scoop Up net for Zapdos is not a bad call, but I don't think it's justified enough. Us having those in there would have been, what, an extra 40 damage? Yeah, you're going for the Rillaboom? I like the Rillaboom build of that deck. It's good. I don't think you need a Radiant then, to be honest. It's like Greninja for a bit of draw is nice, but with the Rillabooms, like, you're filling up your bench pretty quick with those and the Dragos, and then if you've got like Crobats for a bit of draw support, it can get a little bit contested for bench space. But yeah, like Greninja, Gardevoir, or Charizard would be good Radiants in that deck. Okay, how do we play this one out? We go for Cinccino for a bit of draw support. I don't know that it's gonna do enough. So I think we just keep it as this, hope to get into an energy, use Call for Family. Yeah. Because then we can go Level Ball. Yeah, Level Ball, get a Zorua. Call for Family, get 2 Zoruas. Keep this. Feels like it's hard to drop something. Or, yeah, that's kind of how I felt when I was building it too. I tried a few different builds of Regidrago, and they all felt fine, but they all felt like they needed a little bit extra. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it goes after rotation. Because we won't really be, well, you won't be able to use Rillaboom anymore, so it's, should you go for it in its place? Alright, so we've got to take out 3 Arcanines now. We could Echo and Corn, just to muck up their bench so they're not putting down more energy, although I don't think they even need more energy at this point. Yeah, I think we just get that. Ball. Ultra Ball these 2. Get into the other Zoroark. Serena away Serena. You don't like the Gardenia version? Yeah. It's definitely different. Level Ball, get a Minccino. Are we looking for discard? 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 30 plus that. 130, 260. He's taking 20 less. We're doing 240. Gets a knockout. Nice. Okay, we got the balloon too. So if this gets knocked out, this goes active, give it a balloon, it has it for pivot potential. So if we aren't able to get into a energy to get an attack off, we're fine. Because right now we're looking a little bit tight. 4 out of play. We've got 3 more still. Yeah. Like the Gardenia version might come together. Rotation, after rotation too, like decks will slow down a little bit. Lightning is looking pretty good though for post-rotation. How's this going? Special Energy's only got 1 in play. Abilities. That would be doing 250 minus 20 minus 20. Not ideal. That stays. We Evo Incense, we're more likely to get an Evo out than Level Ball target. Get this. Oh, Level Ball breaks him. Alright, Wisdom that on top, because if we get Serena, happily put both these in the discard. Now we just get one. Ah, okay. How's that looking though? I think that Wormadam still takes a knockout. Even minus 20, minus 20. Because now we've got extra guys in the discard. Yeah, perfect. And the other thing is, like, you can still use just general attacks into Duraludon. If it's got special energy on it, it won't do damage, but like they can shred through it, half hit it, following turn, Duraludon does the same, swings into them for 220, bench them UV, use Psychically, bounce back into the deck, put a Mellow Edit in the active, make them only take one prize. Like, it's... yeah, I feel like those are fine matchups. As long as you know how to play the matchups, you is a very strong deck. Alright, Goodra. Goodra doesn't have a weakness, so we're not getting any cheeky knockouts on it. We'd have to get it with the Hisuian Zoroark. I'm thinking we just throw down Path to the Peak here. Like, does getting into Zoroark really even do us anything? Not really. I think we just grab another Cinccino. Throw this down, hope for the best. They can't counter the stadium if they're just fully going in on being able to use Arceus Vstar to get out. This buys us a bit of time. We'll evolve the bench one. Mightyena does nothing for us in this matchup. Wormadam does straight damage. Nah, I wouldn't. No, I'm not. Don't say you're bad. There's learning the matchups. If you're losing against a deck, it doesn't mean you're bad. It just means you need just take a step back, look at the plays you've done. Could you do things differently? Are they going to lead to victory, or was it just a factor if you drew some bad cards or had unfortunate prizing? Because sometimes that is the case. A lot of the times it's just, hey, you make misplays. Like, I've made plenty of misplays tonight. Alright, how are we looking here? We can get a Cinccino. I think we level ball for a Zorua at this point. Like, we're going to be researching anyways, so we may as well. Let's just call for family. Let's just get some more Zoros out. Bench another Minccino. Call for family. Get 2 Zoros. Sit on this hand. Next turn we go Evo Incense, Zoroark, level ball Cinccino. Ditch this. They're going to put Arceus in the active. We swing with Wormadam into him. Oh, actually, we can just ditch it right now. Let them know we're coming for him. Might just hold that one, to be honest. This gets knocked out, we can bench the other one. Sweet. You put Drapion and everything? Regidrago is way more fun than Mew? Yeah. I would fully agree with that. I love Regidrago, it's a fun time. I'm not really a fan of Mew decks though. I'm a bit biased in that sense, but... So if we go into Wormadam, what are we doing for numbers? Not heaps, but not bad numbers. Wouldn't mind keeping that energy in play. We get another Cinccino? Yeah, we get another Cinccino. We just want to burn through things for draw power. Try and get into a not double turbo energy. Have boss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Zoroark goes at 6, 90, 70 after that, 100 with the choice belt, so it's not even knocking that out. Honestly, might just evolve for the time being. Just swing. Although I guess evolving, we might get some more things. We get more things in the discard, not might get some more things in the discard. We research here. It gets us the number to knock this out at least. Going to the discard anyways, let's attach it. What are we looking in the discard there? Arceus. Yeah, I don't mind the idea of bringing back the Arceus just as another target. We can get around Goodra then. Found the Serenas, we found energies. I think we're alright. We just need to find ways into Zoroarks consistently. Nice. Bluefish, how's it going, buddy? Finally finished organizing your collection. Congrats, Luke. That's awesome. Alright, so this path to the peak is putting in work. We've got another Zoroark, so we literally just chuck this in the active, repeat. We've got Serenas to get around that Goodra. Right? How are we for numbers? I think we're fine. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 140. Well, maybe we're not. Oh, we've got these though. Yeah, we're fine. Double check our math. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 160 minus 20, 140, double it. Yeah, we get there. We get there. I don't think we even bother with any of this. We just swing. Yeah. Right on the button. What do we have? Oh, Talonflame is in the chat. Damn. How's this next turn play out? Yeah, we didn't get Marnie, so we literally just chuck this in the active. Ordinary Rod of Zoroark back into the deck. Ultra Ball forward, attach Energy Serena up Arceus. I don't even know if we needed to put it back in the deck. There might have been one, but play it safe. Yeah, there's one in there still. It's just scooped. Yeah, Zoro Box is fun. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, hit that thumbs up button and let me know. Till next time though, take care of yourself.